Hello, this is Opinion Radar. And if you're anything like me, a busy mom juggling snacks, screen time, and the constant I'm bored chorus, you know how special it feels to find a craft that actually holds your child's attention without driving you crazy. Today, I'm sharing my honest take on the Melissa&Doug Sand Art Bottles Craft Kit, a little creative adventure we recently tried that promised color, calm, and maybe just a sprinkle of magic. Priced at $18, it's not your average arts and crafts project. It's designed for tiny hands, big imaginations, and parents who appreciate activities that don't take over the living room. I was curious whether something so simple could really captivate my kids, or if it would just be another quick, ooh, followed by mom. What's next? Spoiler, I was surprised. Keep watching, because I'll walk you through how this quiet little kit turned into one of our most remembered afternoons. Let me tell you about the Melissa&Doug Sand Art Bottles Craft Kit. It's become one of those little treasures in our craft box that I keep reaching for when I need something fun, creative, and not too messy for my kids. I'll admit, I was a little skeptical at first. I mean, how exciting can colored sand in plastic bottles really be? But after we tried it together on a rainy afternoon, I was completely won over. The kit comes with 3 small plastic bottles, cork stoppers, a little funnel, a scooper, a design stick, and 8 vibrant colors of sand. Everything you need is right there, which I absolutely love as a mom. No running around looking for supplies, or realizing halfway through that we're missing something crucial. It was such a relief to just open the box and dive right in. My 5-year-old and I each made our own bottles, and honestly, it felt more like bonding time than just another craft project. There's something so meditative about layering the colors, watching them stack up, and trying to create patterns without mixing them too much. It was such a simple activity, but it sparked real joy for both of us. One thing that stood out immediately was how easy it was for my daughter to do most of it independently. She's 6, and while she still asks for help sometimes, this project gave her a real sense of accomplishment. I showed her how to use the funnel, how to cut a tiny slit in the sand packet to control the flow, and then she was off. She carefully chose her colors, layered them in, mostly pink, purple, and blue, of course, and even tried making little swirls with that skinny green stick, though I'll be honest, it takes some practice. What surprised me most was how little cleanup there was. I'd laid down a piece of foil just in case, but barely a speck spilled. That's a huge win in my book. I don't need another craft that turns my kitchen table into a sand-covered disaster zone. The instructions are simple, the materials are contained, and everything fits neatly back in the box when you're done. It's the kind of activity I can pull out during a play date or when a friend comes over and know there won't be chaos, just calm, focused creativity. Now, let's talk about the sand itself. The colors are bright and fun. There's hot pink, deep purple, sunny yellow, teal, and more, and they really pop when layered. My son, who usually runs the other way when he sees a craft project, actually stopped mid-swing on the backyard, play set to come try it when he saw what we were doing. That says something. But there's a bit of a catch. The amount of sand is just enough to fill the bottles, maybe even a tiny bit under. So if your child wants to go heavy on one color, say all blue with just a hint of red, someone else might miss out. It becomes a gentle lesson in sharing and planning, which I actually appreciate, but if you're hoping for extra to experiment or fix a mistake, you're out of luck. I found myself gently reminding my kids to go easy with the scooper so we wouldn't run out before everyone had a turn. There's no room for spills or do-overs, so if your child is prone to knocking things over, you might want to do this outside or over a big tray you can toss in the wash. The bottles themselves are definitely on the small side, about 3 inches tall, and I'll admit my first thought was, are these really big enough? But then I watched my 3-year-old niece hold one in her tiny hands, proudly showing off her creation, and it clicked. They're small, yes, but that's actually perfect for little hands. They're lightweight, not fragile, and easy to grip. My nephew used his as pretend potions, complete with dramatic backstory and sound effects. This one turns you invisible. And honestly, I love seeing how his imagination ran wild with it. Even after the sand art was done, the bottles kept them entertained. I can see them being used as decorations on a kid's shelf, party favors, or even little gifts for friends. And because they're sealed with corks, the sand won't fall out. A major plus for me as someone who doesn't want random grains showing up in the couch cushions 6 months later. I also appreciate the quality of the materials. Everything feels sturdy and well made, which you kind of expect from Melissa and Doug, but it's still nice when a product lives up to the reputation. The funnel works great. The scooper is just the right size, and the sand doesn't clump or get gross. One thing I will mention, that green design stick? Cute idea, but it's a bit tricky for little kids to use effectively. My daughter tried to make swirls like she saw in videos, but it took a lot of patience and adult help. It's not a deal breaker, but more of a fun extra than a must-use feature. Honestly, the real magic is in the layering, watching the colors stack up like a rainbow cake. It's simple but beautiful. My kids kept holding their bottles up to the light, gasping at how shiny and vivid they looked. It felt like we made something magical out of just sand and plastic. As a mom who's always on the lookout for activities that are both fun and meaningful, this one hits a sweet spot. It's not just busy work, it teaches patience, color recognition, fine motor skills, and even a bit of planning. I've used it on days when I needed a few quiet minutes to make dinner or answer emails, and it's delivered every time. It takes about half an hour from start to finish, which is perfect for young attention spans. Not so short that they're left wanting more immediately, not so long that they lose interest. And the best part? My kids still talk about it a week later. Remember when we made the sparkly bottle? One even asked if we could do it again for her next play date. That's high praise coming from a kid who usually forgets what she did yesterday. At $18, I think it's a solid value, especially if you're looking for a gift for a crafty kid. It's thoughtful, screen-free, and sparks real creativity. I've given it as a birthday present and would absolutely recommend it to other parents. Just go in knowing the sand is limited and the bottles are small. They're not display pieces you'd put on a mantle, but they're perfect for little hands and big imaginations. For me, it's become one of those go-to activities that's equal parts art project and quiet time, and honestly, that's gold in the world of parenting. If you loved watching tiny hands create big magic with colored sand, go ahead and sprinkle some love by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Every like helps more parents discover creative, calm time fun, and who knows, your next craft moment might just be a subscribe away.